the best job in the world. I get to make happiness for a living. I do it lots of ways. I am a stand-up comic, a podcaster, burlesque performer, and theatrical producer. The shows are what I'm most known for. I have a lot of different shows, but the biggest one is the International Burlesque and Circus Festival. So every single day, I'm surrounded by clowns and showgirls and comedians, acrobats, jugglers, fire breathers, monkeys. Those are my coworkers. Like, you know that circus you want to run away to? I make that. It's amazing. So today, I want to talk to you about how all of this happened and how I think that everybody has the ability to turn pain into magic. I think that the reason happiness is so important to me is because it's something I never thought that I would have. Like a lot of people, I struggled with depression my whole life. From childhood, I have been medicated, I have been hospitalized, self-harm, suicide attempts, like depression, anxiety, panic, and pain. Like, I had all that. So now that I finally know what happiness feels like, getting the opportunity to give others that feeling, it's all I ever want to do with my life. So, how did I get the best job in the world? I was a stripping clown. A waitress at a bar that I used to go to about 10 years ago said that she was putting on a burlesque show and asked if I wanted to be part of it. I said, that sounds fun, but I cannot sing, I cannot dance, I've never been on stage, and I have zero talent. She said, it's fine, we'll figure it out. So I decided to be a clown. If my makeup was bad, if I tripped on my heels, if I fell off the stage, which did happen, it was on purpose. I'm just being a clown. And it worked out for me because it turns out that when you take your clothes off, people like you. I don't have time to get into all the stories, but it spiraled out of control real fast. I was hired by bars every single night to bring them chaos. Basically, I was given unlimited bar tabs and budgets to bring in every carny and freak show and like jackass-style stuntman. I often joined those stuntmen doing things I had no business doing. I have been tased for fun more times than I can count. I lived in this constant state of chasing adrenaline, and bars basically just paid me for a chance to like ride the ride. I drank a lot before this all happened, but once I became an artist, you can see me making art in a kiddie pool full of Jell-O and tequila. Once I thought I was an artist, I was blackout drunk every single night for years. I just kept telling myself, it's part of my job. It makes me better. It makes me more fun. It calms my nerves. People like me when I'm drunk. What's really happening is I was numbing myself to the fact that I was surrounded by people who were using me. And it was real easy to do. Like I told you before this, I had struggled with depression my whole life. Before burlesque, I was a sad, quiet girl with no friends. Like, I always thought I was clumsy, but looking back, I ran into things because I always walked with my head down. So I had spent my first 25 years afraid of the world and staring at my feet. And then this happened. And people liked me. So yeah, it was real easy to numb myself and pretend that I didn't know I was surrounded by people who were using me. People who didn't care about me even when this happened. I was driving home drunk and flipped my truck in a ditch. I don't remember much, but I was told that I was in a neighborhood, skid into a ditch, hit the gas instead of the brake, hitting a pipe which flipped me back out of the ditch. One of the only things that I remember is screaming at the woman whose yard I just ruined. Don't call the cops! Don't call the cops! Like, I got this. She called the cops. The judge said that I was, this is a direct quote, a threat to society. Me! I spent the night in jail, a year and a half on probation. I carried around a breathalyzer, which is a real fun look for a clown, and I was not allowed to leave Houston or enter any establishment that served alcohol, which is like all of them. So everything that I built up, all of those gigs were gone. And those new friends, They didn't talk to me anymore because I didn't have anything to offer them. The gigs were gone. I was useless. They had nothing to do with me. So I lost my friends, I lost my job, I lost my car, I lost my house, I lost my fiance, I lost my freedom, I lost everything. Lucky for me, I gained back that lifetime's worth of depression. It came back with a vengeance. I pretty much spent a year in a hole, unable to do any of the things that I thought made me me. But it was during that time that I realized the only thing that the judge could not take away from me was my ability to plan and to dream. So I used that dead time to plan the first ever Bayou City Burlesque and Circus Arts Festival. Everything that I'd done before this had been these tiny dive bar performances. This, I knew I wanted it to be different, like a huge multi-stage Vegas-style extravaganza. A lot of people tell me it wouldn't work. Those friends I told you about, they did a lot of shady things to try to stop it from happening. So I was terrified it would fail. But it didn't. We sold out. The fire marshal actually had to come and kick some people out because we were way over capacity. It was a whole thing. So we sold out. So I couldn't drink the month leading up to the festival. Not because I didn't want to, I wanted to. But there was just no time. I was up at 7 a.m., working till 4 a.m. It was the hardest I've ever worked. It was just repeat, repeat, repeat for days and days and days. There was no time to get wasted. I have been sober for 4 years now. Both of these were taken in the dressing room as I was about to go on stage to start the show. That bottle's already empty. I didn't spill it. I was a mess before the festival, but it changed my life. It showed me that I was capable of caring that much and becoming that other person that I am now. So it just made me ask myself, if I can care that much about something else, what would happen if I cared about myself? That's when everything changed. That's when I quit drinking. That's when I started to focus on my career and my life and surrounding myself with genuine people. I am so, so proud of who I've become and what I've built, but none of it would have happened without that struggle. I had to hit rock bottom to become who I am now. So we've all heard these stories, right? Like somebody gets fired and it motivates them to start their business, or they get cancer and they decide to travel the world, or gets dumped and becomes a yoga teacher and is crazy hot now, right? We all hear these things, but it doesn't happen for everyone. Why are some rock bottoms a pit and others a catalyst? I gave this talk about becoming the impossible, right? Basically the story you just heard. It's stripping clown, alcoholic, depression, lose everything, sobriety, success. It's a classic tale. And afterwards, this girl came up to me, and she had the biggest, most hopeful eyes. And she said, "Oh my God, thank you for sharing your story, but I needed to come ask you, how did you do it?" And I said, "I just told you. There were pictures." And she said, "Well, no, it's just, I lost my job, and my mom just died. I didn't think I could even get out of bed today. How can you be driven if you don't even want to be alive?" Yeah, I didn't put that in the pictures. So I said things like, "I'm so proud of you, you got this." And she said things like, "But I don't." And I said, "There's always a light." And she said, "I don't see it." I was like, "Oh, you're gonna be writing me your success story so soon?" And she said, "Okay, thank you," and walked away. I had watched all the hope drain out of her face. She wanted an answer so bad, and I wanted to give her an answer so bad, and neither of us got what we needed. Now, I hated not having an answer for her, so I spent a lot of time trying to break down not only my story, but other people's stories to try to find an answer. I spoke with people who have overcome different hardships and turned their lives around, and I think I figured it out. And here's the best news. This isn't just for addicts. Rock bottom is for everyone. Yay! So I think I figured it out. Those stories that you hear, those people who have overcome something and turned their lives around, they all did 3 things. First, they decided life was impossible. The beauty of rock bottom is that when everything seems impossible, all things are equally possible. Okay, in your darkest places, brushing your teeth or moving to Japan. Both sound equally daunting. In your darkest places, in that state, a friend can call up and say, hey, put your shoes on. We can get you out of the house for a little bit. Or she can call and say, hey, put your shoes on. We're gonna do that Forrest Gump thing and run across the country a few times. Both are gonna get you the same answer. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. You're like, yeah, let me just put my shoes on like a wizard. It's not happening. But when all things are impossible, all things are equally possible. I thought it was impossible to go a day without drinking. I once busted out a flask at breakfast in front of my mom and then got mad at her for being all judgy about it. So once I accidentally, working on the festival, went a full day, the floodgates opened. That girl that came to that talk, she had already done one of the things you need. That's all you need is one impossible task. She didn't think she can get out of bed, but she did. She'd already done step 1 and didn't even know it. Next, embrace the fuel. Once the rules of possibility are broken, these people embraced it. They used that extreme desperation to start a circus or open a comedy club or get their law degree, become a social worker, get into shape, whatever that thing is that they needed to do. They felt that desperation. They understood that that was passion that they were feeling inside them. They didn't wait for their pain to pass. They used it. I think that anger and pain and sadness can be training wheels for people who don't yet know what healthy passion feels like. Passion is fuel, and if you're at rock bottom, you have passion. People think laying in bed all day is apathy. It's not. Apathy is a neutral state, just like putting along. Laying in bed all day takes passion. Depression takes passion. Okay, when I was on probation, I hated myself with a passion. I would cry all day, all day. Do you know how much dedication that takes to just cry and cry and cry? And even when there's no more tears left, just make the sounds of crying because nothing, not even my body's lack of liquid was gonna stop me from doing what I decided to do. That's commitment. Nobody that I spoke to about their rock bottoms passed neutral along the way to healthy. So don't feel bad or guilty about having those like bad feelings. Understand that they are a form of passion. Feel it and use it. Oh, that messed up, it's fine. When that girl asked me, how did you do it? Where did you find your drive? I knew the answer, but I didn't tell her. Instead, I regurgitated memes and greeting cards. I was trying to find a pretty, more socially acceptable answer. Because the real answer, the truth, was spite. I was angry at the judge, I was angry at my ex, I was angry at my friends, I was angry at God. And I wanted to spite them all. My anger hurt so much that the physical pain of working myself to exhaustion was the only distraction I could find from the emotional pain of feeling so abandoned. I did it because I was angry. It is not a pretty answer, but it's one a lot of people have repeated back to me. One of my favorite quotes pretty much sums this up. It's from Dr. Michael Beckwith. He said, pain pushes until the vision pulls. I love that so much. I think it's something that everybody should hear. It's probably what I should have told that girl. Which brings us to number 3, find the vision. Okay, KiKi, everything's impossible and I'm angry. Am I fixed now? No, sorry. You have to have a vision to continue to pull you. Being driven by anger or fear has its purpose, but it's not sustainable. Believe me, I tried. You have to have the vision to pull you as that anger or fear subsides. I don't think that you can find, or I don't think you can choose, your vision. I think it's inside you. I think you can do some emotional equations, though, to try to find it, figure out what it is. Honestly, ask yourself, what is the root cause of my pain? That fuel from number 2, boil that down to its base fear, and then find the complementary idea. That is your vision. My pain was rooted in a fear of failure. The complementary idea is that I would love to be a success. Understand, these are not opposite ideas. They're complementary. They're just different sides of the same coin. It's just that some of us have only ever seen one side. Fear is all that we've known. When I was working on the festival, everything that I knew was anger and sadness. But after the festival, I started doing more and more shows. My confidence grew. And over time, I started to feel a fear of failure and a love of success. Just a little bit, like a tiny little bit. But knowing that the other side of the coin even existed gave me a healthy feeling to work towards feeling. It's like those emotional training wheels fell off. And over time, love just takes over. It's just a stronger fuel. So find out, like, what is the root cause of my pain? Boil that down to what the fear is, and then find the complementary idea. That is your vision, the thing that can carry you long term. So I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. It can be instantly awesome. It takes time, and it takes work. But it's just, a lot of people realize all this after the fact. And I think, I hope that it can make your journey a little bit less daunting to understand the process while you're in it rather than afterwards. Okay? And if I could do it, I know you can do it. Okay? You saw what that mess looked like. I know that everybody can do this. So, like, if anybody in here is in a dark place right now, I am sorry. I know it sucks. I am so sorry. But I promise that rock bottom is a great foundation to build a magical life. Thank you.